Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm a big fan of the Stormlight Archive and the Wind and Truth, and I've made a bunch of videos describing why I think the story, especially the ending, was really satisfying. But in this video, I want to break down some of the elements that didn't quite work for me in Wind and Truth and why. And I'm interested in your thoughts about whether you agree in what I say here, or whether you approached it from a little bit of a different perspective that could make some of the plot lines that I talk about a little bit more satisfying as a reader. So this video, if it isn't clear already, will include spoilers for all of the Stormlight Archive through the end of Wind and Truth. I also talk about a little bit about Mistborn as well. So with that, let's get into it. So the first thing that I really didn't quite like was Jasna's negotiation with Odium. And up front, I just want to say that from a character development standpoint, I do understand why you may want to showcase a defeated Jasna who takes a blow to her self-confidence. Because from the start of the Stormlight Archive, from when we first see her in Way of Kings, Jasna as a character, has stayed relatively constant. She's defined by her firm beliefs, her reliance on the strength of her mind, and a level of self-assuredness that I think we haven't really seen waver. So I see why, in order to have Jasna grow as a character, you'd want to have her suffer a defeat, especially in an area where she feels the most confident, which is her scholarship and her philosophical thought and reasoning. Having said that, I just felt like the debate did not work for me. For one, it didn't feel credible to me that Jasna would be so easily drawn into a debate with Odium in the first place, without having backup plans in place. Jasna knows Taravangian better than most people. She spent significant amount of time with him in Kharbran, and she knows how crafty he is firsthand. So to me, the fact that she fully throws herself into a debate with him without having backup plans, to me struck me as somewhat naive for a character that isn't naive. Second, the debate itself honestly felt a little silly to me. Jasna kind of immediately starts off on a back foot when Taravangian basically accuses her of working for Odium. And her and Odium argue about who can bring the most peace to Roshar. Taravangian or Odium because he can enforce it, versus Jasna who can only promise right now that the ruling family will not attack Thelena. But I found it really unsatisfying because I would have thought Jasna could have easily reframed the debate to be less about enforced peace and more about choices and agency, which she really didn't throughout the entire debate. I also found it strange that Jasna didn't really talk about Odium's intent, the Shard's intent, who's literally the god of hatred and has waged war on Roshar for thousands of years. She's on the back foot because Odium or Taravangian attacks her personally, but she has, I don't understand why she didn't attack Taravangian's actions or Odium's actions personally as well. And then finally for me, it didn't really resonate for me in terms of Fenn's character. Fenn isn't some political novice here. In fact, she's kind of a straight talking monarch. And in fact, the first time that we see her, she tells Dalinar, you're an old brute, quit spreading skull chat. Chull scat is what she says. And so I found it a little strange that what converted her to side with Odium was this philosophical debate when she's actually the character that often cuts most quickly to the heart of the issue and doesn't like what Navani calls queen speak. So Fenn ended up coming across, I think, as more easily manipulated than what it comes across with her character arc in the other books. The second arc in Wind and Truth that didn't work for me was around Mraize and the Ghostbloods. And I don't know if this is controversial, but I've never quite understood why Mraize seemed to have such a hold on Shallan. He's kind of a mid-level bureaucrat in the Ghostbloods. He's not that interesting. So I really thought heading into Wind and Truth there'd be some sort of crazy revelation that would make the entire Shallan-Mraize dynamic make more sense. And there just wasn't. And then the third thing that I didn't quite like was the whole side quest of Kaladin and Szeth in fighting the honor bearers in Shinovar. This is another one where I'll do a big caveat here because I loved Szeth's flashbacks. I loved his backstory, and I really also liked the dynamic between Szeth and Kaladin and Nail during their quest. However, their actual jaunt through Shinovar fighting the honor bearers just felt really contrived. It frankly felt like a video game to me and very linear and repetitive. Each honor bearer had a little bit of a different flavor, but it was all fundamentally the same. And I felt like plot-wise, like beyond giving space for Kaladin and Szeth and Nail to have their dynamic and character development, it didn't really add a whole lot to the story. So I like the relationship. I just think it could have been a more compelling quest. So what do you think? Did these plot points work for you, or do you agree that they felt a little bit unsatisfying? And I want to say, like, as I said at the start of the video, I did really overall love the book, and I'm planning to follow up with a video that lays out the 3 areas where I felt like it really came together really nicely and was particularly well done. But with that, if you like content like this, please like the video, please subscribe. As I said, I'm going to continue to post as regularly as I can on all things Cosmere. Thanks, everyone.